Welcome back to Melody Loves Death Metal. Happy Monday. This is 3 death metal albums to get your week started off right. I missed a couple weeks due to traveling and stuff, but I figured let's get back on track today. In the background, I have this classic ass compilation playing Morjan, God of Death and Disease. This is a death metal or death doom band from the early 90s, classic compilation that was put out by Dark Descent Records like back in 2012. It includes their demo from 1991, Rapid Decay, a live rehearsal from 92, and then their 7-inch Travesty from 93. Admittedly, the only stuff that I really know by this band, I've never really dove too deep into their full lengths or anything like that past that. So yeah, awesome comp, awesome death doom band, classic 90s death metal here. So yeah, playing it to drown out the shit noise in the background of my house. I'm gonna turn it down because it seems like it's loud for me, but I don't know if you guys can ever hear the music. But as you guys know, my family's home, summer vacation, the children are loud. I'm off today, my final vacation day. Cracking open a nice ice cold Fresca because it is 100 and... Let's see here. We've been under extreme heat advisory for the last several days here in Florida. It is 91, feels like 112 degrees right now. There's also heat advisory in Chicago, as my weather app would tell me. I have it saved because I'm from there and we travel there anyway. Yeah, so we were at the beach this past weekend and it was refreshing once we were able to sit down and just get the ocean breeze. The water was like bath water, as it always is around this time of the year, but the heat advisory was so bad. I think yesterday it got up to 100 degrees, actually 100 degrees, but the real feel was 114 in Tampa, which I think is the first time that's ever happened. I believe I might have heard that wrong, but walking with all of our beach stuff from our hotel to the spot on the beach was just miserable. So yeah, happy summer. We are summer here in Florida until about end of September, early October, and then it starts to cool down a tiny bit to the 80s. But anyway, hope you guys had a great weekend. So as I stated in my video on Friday, this is the week of giveaways. Today I'm doing this regular video. Starting tomorrow, I'm doing giveaways for the next 4 days. Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube giveaways. Some are going to be Facebook only, some are going to be Instagram only, and then a couple are going to be YouTube subscribers only. So if you're not following me on those other social media platforms, now's the time to do it. It's going to be tapes and CDs, giveaways, several pieces of artwork that I have that were sent to me, and a vinyl record as well. So yeah, it's just a thank you guys, just a thank you to everyone who has been supporting me. I love doing giveaways. It's one of my favorite things to do. I love giving back to the death metal community. So yeah, follow me. So anyway, let's go ahead and get started. Wait, nope, I lied. I got one more thing and then we'll get started. The t-shirt pre-order with the swamp, the gator chomp artwork is now over. I've sent over the details to Marty to press the shirts. I did order a couple of extra ones because I'm going to throw those in for giveaways eventually down the road. But I do have a new t-shirt pre-order coming up this Friday. You're going to love it. The artwork is awesome. And hopefully I'll get more orders. But I've got a pretty good handful of orders for this last t-shirt. So this one will probably stay up around a lot longer. I might press a whole bunch of these because I think that they'll be popular. And then just keep them on hand. So yeah, be on the lookout for that this Friday. It'll probably be its own separate video besides the giveaway video that I'm doing. So alright, let's go ahead and get started. So I have 3 cassette tapes here, but these are all also on vinyl records and probably CD as well. These are all 3 releases that have come out this year that I have enjoyed quite a bit, and you'll probably see on the stream this Friday on Heavy Metallurgy for some of my favorite albums that have come out so far this year. So yeah, all of these are available. I'll link in the description where you can buy every single format, and as always I do a small little snippet so you can get a little taste of what they are. But yeah, check all of these out. So the first one I'm starting with is the new Reburied album, Flesh Mourning. This is the Iron Fortress Records cassette release. There is also a vinyl version on Translation Lost Records. And I think, did Iron Fortress also do the CD? Let me just check so you guys could know. Try to cover all the bases here. Oh my god. Gotta spell it right first before it pops up. Yes, there's also a CD on Iron Fortress. So Iron Fortress did the cassette in the CD, and then Translation Lost Records did the vinyl record pressing of this. So Reburied is a US death metal band. This is their second full-length album. Their first full-length, Repulsive Nature, came out in 2023 on Translation Lost Records. Huge fan of that. Really enjoyed that album. Was one of my favorites to come out that year. They also have a split with Deconsecration. That came out in 2021. That was the first time I ever learned who Reburied was. So yeah, this album is phenomenal. It's very chuggy, heavy death metal. Got some great leads on here. A lot of reverb, so if reverb drives you crazy, just heads up, there's a lot of reverb on here. But yeah, it's a lot of what they were doing in their past album. The sound is still there. They've just progressed a little bit more in their songwriting, add a little bit more technicality to it in regards to their leads and stuff like that. But yeah, this is no bullshit, no frills, no, crazy shit death metal, very pummeling. And if you're into that, like, more straightforward death metal sound with a little bit more of those technical riffs in there, they're not considered technical death metal, but they write really, really good guitar riffs with that heavy reverb tone. You will really, really enjoy this album. So yeah, a fan of this band. I feel like they were kind of slept on a little bit on their first album, so hopefully this gets more of a lift in regards to people knowing who they are. It's a very, very good album. So it was cool to see that Iron Fortress picked them up to press the tape and the CD. I love when Iron Fortress gets a band that is, like a little bit more, I wouldn't say like popular, but just bands that I already know. Like, 'cause it's nice to see that he's picking up bands that have been in this space for a while. But he also presses a lot of bands that I've never heard of, which is what I quite enjoy the most, because I tend to, I find new music, and I really enjoy that about that label. So the artwork is done by Rodrigo Paera, Absolute Desert Art on Instagram. So yeah, cool artwork. I thought it was going to be Paolo Girardi, because that looks similar to his work. Well, a little bit, but no, it's this other artist. So yeah, Reburied, Flesh Mourning, very morbid, heavy, dark sounding death metal. Check it out. The second release that I wanted to talk about is another new release that has come out this year. This one actually released in July 18th. I believe it was also the same as Reburied. Yes, so these both were released on the same Friday. And this is Filth, Time to Rot. This is a split release between Rotted Life Records and Meisako Un Oho. So Meisako put out the vinyl record, and then Rotted Life put out the cassette tape and the CD. So these are also available. Filth is a new band. I've never heard of them before until this release. I got the promo for this, and as soon as I heard it, I immediately went over to Bandcamp and pre-ordered the CD. Man, talking is hard today. The cassette tape, because I really, really enjoyed this album. Death metal band out of Sweden. Yes, they do have that Swedish death metal sound here and there, but it's not like the buzzsaw of like Dismembered. This is a lot more of a filthier sounding death metal, murkier style of death metal, but heavy as hell. Very, very well written, and I've been enjoying this album a lot. It is definitely an MSUO release. Like, this is they fit perfectly on the bill when it comes to MSUO as well as Rotted Life. So yeah, when you see Sweden that they're from, don't expect to hear Dismember, but every once in a while you can hear a little bit of those influences within their sound. This is their first ever full-length release. They had a promo out back in 2024. I didn't hear that, but yeah, so this is phenomenal. And what you're getting with this is a 28-minute long album, which some people would say is not a full length, but whatever. It's almost 30 minutes, and I'm considering it that. So, classic tape there with the red ink, and then the J card. Definitely check this out. This is by far one of my favorite releases to come out this year. Yeah, it just came out like a week or two ago, but like I said, I had the promo, so I was listening to it a ton. Very crushing and very filthy sounding. Got a little bit of that putrid sound in there as well. Has some amazing guitar riffs, a lot of crunch to it. Just a phenomenal album. Again, I love when I find a new band. I love that, I've never heard of them before. So, and the artwork is done by Thomas Mitura. Pretty cool artwork there. I really enjoy it. So yeah, check this out. Like I said, there are several. This is split release between Rotted Life and MSUO. So if you want the vinyl, I'm sure a lot of distros in the US will eventually get it in stock, and you can buy it from there. But if you're fine with just the cassette or CD, Rotted Life definitely still has these in stock. So Filth, Time to Rot, check it out. And then finally, the last release for your Monday to get started is one that I showed off last week in my birthday haul videos. I mentioned that I had only heard like 1 or 2 tracks from this, and that was why I ordered it. Since then, I went back and re-listened to the album several times. In fact, I've been spinning this just about every day. I did it right before this video. Reek Mind with Mired in the Reek of Grief. So Reek Mind is a new band for me. I had never heard of them until I saw that Night Terror Records put them out. And I love Night Terror Records. I follow that label quite a bit now, and I try to buy stuff whenever I see it come out. Atavistic Decay is pretty much my first ever Night Terror Records release that I bought from, which was last year. Loved that demo. So Reek Mind is a band out of Australia. They've got a sludgier, doomier sound to it. Definitely more doom, sludge here and there, but they've got a really unique sound in that the vocalist isn't like that gurgly, heavy, like Death Doom vocalist. He's got more of a higher, raspy, sinister sounding vocal style, which I really enjoy. It's a different sound that a lot of other death metal bands don't use. It's got a little bit more of a unique sound. Heavy, doom-laden riffs, it's just crushing and pummeling. And like I said, I've been listening to this a ton ever since I got this cassette. There's also a vinyl version of this as well that was put out on Night Terror Records. I feel like Iron Fortress might have that in the distro too. Kind of sad I didn't pick that up, so I might bite the bullet and then use the cassette tape as a giveaway or something, because I do quite enjoy this. In fact, it is going to be on my list for some of my favorite albums to come out this year so far. And I know it's only been like a week since I've listened to it, but when you're in the mood and something's hitting, as soon as you hear it, you just can't stop listening to it. At least that's how I am, and I tend to binge those albums quite a bit, and that is pretty much how this year has been. I've got my set albums that I just love, and I've been binging them and playing them over and over again. Previous years, I've been so fixated on trying to keep up with new releases and not listening to some of the ones that I enjoyed a lot, as to not get tired of them. But I don't feel like that this year. So yeah, anyway, just went off on a bit of a tangent there. So here is the J card. I love the layout on this. And Night Terror Records is based out of the Netherlands, so the shipping is actually not too bad from them if you put enough in the package to make the shipping worth it. So heads up on that if you're looking to order this and you can't find this in the US distro anywhere, but I know the Iron Fortress for a fact has this. The artwork is done by, let's see here, Terror Matte. So yeah, I like the artwork on here. I love the red, white, and black aesthetics, layout, cool stuff. So yeah, Reek Mind, Mired in the Reek of Grief, awesome release. Super happy that I somewhat kind of blind bought this because it has now just been on repeat ever since. So check this out. So that is all I have for this Monday. Like I said, the next 4 days, I'm uploading a video every single day this week of giveaways and a new t-shirt pre-order announcement from a legendary artist. I think you guys are going to enjoy it quite a bit. And like I said, Morjan is playing in the background. This is an awesome compilation. If you can find it on Discogs, I highly recommend it. I'm not too sure if Dark Descent still has it in stock or anything like that, but yeah. That's all I have. I hope you guys had a great weekend. Hope you're having a great Monday, and I'll see you tomorrow.